Good morning students, I am Krishnan Kumar, your physics teacher. As we have started our thermodynamics chapter in +1 physics, and in this chapter we have covered some topic in our first video. The topic covers are thermal equilibrium, laws of thermodynamics, first law and second law we have done in first video. Then specific heat capacity is also done in first part. Then your thermal state and variable, this is also done in previous video. Now in this video we will start our heat engine, the second part of this video. So let's start our second part. In this video we will start our expression of work done in adiabatic process. So our first topic in this video is adiabatic process. So we have to find that how first law of thermodynamics is applied in your adiabatic process. As in adiabatic process there is no exchange of heat, so we can say dq is 0, means change in heat is 0. So du plus pdv is equal to 0. So pdv is minus du. Now two main point for this. First is adiabatic expansion. If adiabatically there is expansion in any gas, then expansion means increase in volume. Volume is positive, as du will be negative. If this is positive, this will be negative. So internal energy of gas will decrease due to cool down. Due to its cool down, its temperature will reduce. Then adiabatic compression. What will happen in this case? When gas is adiabatically compressed, then volume is decreased. So pdv is negative. This is negative. This was also negative. So negative cancel out. This will become positive. So we can say that in adiabatic compression, du is positive, or you can say your internal energy increase because gas will heat up. Now we have to find work done during adiabatic process. So for this we have to simple consider a piston cylinder system, and your friction less piston is there. So initial conditions are at P1 V1 T1 and final conditions are P2 V2 T2. Suppose at any state in between there is pressure P, volume T, volume V and temperature T, and if we move for a small distance dx, then volume will increase and temperature will decrease and P will remain constant. So for a small change the constant will remain same and work done is given by P dV. Now to find the complete work done from A to V, I simply integrate it into proper limit, that is V1 and V2. So this is for adiabatically. Now we have derived that in adiabatic equation PV power gamma is equal to constant. We have derived it in earlier part. So as if I put this V on this side, then this will become V power minus gamma. So I will simply replace the value of P by this value. So now I will put it P is equal to K V power minus gamma. Now K is constant and V power minus gamma. Now I will take integration of this, means you will increase power 1 and increased power will be come down. So V power 1 minus gamma divided by 1 minus gamma. 1 minus gamma is taken out because gamma is a constant. As gamma is always greater than 1, so I have to exchange these values. So I will take negative common from these two variables. So if this is written as gamma minus 1, this will be written as V1 minus V2. Let's see. Look at here. This I have reversed these values. V1, V2 exchanged. Similarly, 1 minus gamma is also exchanged. Now, as we know that K constant is equal to P1 V1 gamma and it is also equal to P2 V2 gamma. So I simply put the value of K here. This I have put it value of K. Now, from here I can see that this is V1 power gamma and this is V1 power minus gamma. This is V2 power gamma and this is V2 power minus gamma. So these will cancel out. What will remain? This is P1 V1 minus P2 V2. Now I have to consider change in temperature also. So if temperature change from T1 to T2, then P1 V1 is equal to RT1. P1 is equal to RT1. Similarly, P2 V2 is equal to RT2. R will remain constant because it is a gas constant. Now I simply replace P1 V1 by RT1 and P2 V2 by RT2. So it will become RT1 minus RT2. And if I will take common R, then it will become RT minus 1 T2 divided by gamma minus 1. And for the 1 gram of gas, it will be small r, or small r is the gas constant for 1 gram of the gas. Now there are some limitations of first law of thermodynamics. Due to that, we have discovered or we have invented second law of thermodynamics. Now what are the limitations? First, it has no indication of heat transfer, means where heat is going there is no indication. Second, there is no condition in this law of thermodynamics, means under what condition heat is transferring. And third, it has no clue that why complete heat is not converted into work done. Complete heat आपका work done में क्यों convert नहीं हुआ? This has no clue. So for this we have study our second law of thermodynamics. It is the journal experiences, means it is the outcome of human journal experiences. What we practically experiences, this give the statement of second law of thermodynamics. You will find two definitions in the book. First is Kelvin and second is your Celsius. What will happen in this? In Kelvin you will see that it is written that it is not possible to convert all the heat into work done. You have to reject some amount of heat. It is not possible to completely change all amount of heat into work done. And in Celsius, it is written as it is not allowed. It is not allowed to transfer the heat from the lower temperature object to the higher temperature object. This is not possible. So all 2 points show the negativeness of second law of thermodynamics. Both start with a line, that is, it is not possible. Now, these are the 2 processes that we have to study before we study our Carnot engine or heat engine. First is reversible process. It is a process which can be made in reverse direction also with same easiness, means it can be reversed in direction in a similar manner as it is in forward direction. Suppose we are going from point A to B, then with same easiness we come to point B to A. This is known as reversible process, and all reversible process should be slow process, and all the conservative forces will do this reversible processes. Now second is irreversible process. In this process we cannot made any process with same easiness in reverse direction. It will not come to back with its initial positions. For example, exchange of heat, rusting of iron, and mixing of gas. So many examples that are in practical life. There are so many examples which are under the irreversible process, means they cannot be attain your initial position again. Now, there is a engine that will help us to do work from heat energy. So, conversion of heat energy into work is known as your heat engine. What we will do in this? We will apply the heat and we will get the work done. So, it has mainly 3 parts: source, working substance, and the sink of heat. Source will provide you heat. It will always at a higher temperature. Suppose it is at T1 or T2, what can be, whatever you can consider it. It is called as a hot body. Working substance is nothing but the mixture of gases. It has many gases. It has many gases which will expand or compress during the process. Now, sink of heat. there is a sink where we will reject our unused heat after the work done. All these process are your cyclic process. Cyclic process means you are starting from a point and after many parts of steps you will come to the same initial position. So here in heat engine you will have a cyclic process. So now efficiency of heat engine. Efficiency has a simple formula, means output over input. Here output is your work done and input is your heat absorbed from the source. If heat absorbed from the source is Q1 and heat rejected to the sink is Q2, then simply difference is your work done. So work done is nothing but your Q1 minus Q2. Now I simply put these value. Efficiency is equal to work done over Q1, work done is this, and this come out from this relation. As we know that Q2 cannot be 0. If Q2 is 0, then efficiency is 100%, but it is not possible because there must be some leakage of energy which is given to the sink. So efficiency cannot be 100%. Now types of heat engine. There are mainly two types of heat engine depending upon the process of producing the heat. So in external combustion engine, if heat is produced outside your cylinder piston system, then this is known as external combustion engine. And if heat is produced, change it, heat is produced inside the cylinder piston system, then it is known as internal combustion engine. Now we come to our main topic, that is Carnot heat engine. It is an ideal heat engine because the efficiency of any type of engine cannot be greater than your Carnot heat engine. So it is also known as ideal heat engine. The component of this are simple: cylinder, in this there is a working substance or gases, heat source which will give you the amount of heat at temperature T1, heat sink, in this you will reject your remaining amount of heat after work done, insulating stand, it is a stand on which the cylinder piston system will be placed during the process, and working substance is nothing but the gases used in your cylinder piston system. Now Carnot cycle. Carnot cycle is a cyclic process, means we come back to our initial position. It has 4 steps. What will happen? First of all, we put this cylinder system on this part. This is step first. If we put this cylinder on this part, then this will supply heat to your working substance, that is gases, and gas start to expand. And all this process will be at temperature T1. So first process is your isothermal process. Now in second process you will put this cylinder on your stand. Now stand is your insulating. Now there is no exchange of heat. So second process is your adiabatic process. Gas will expand slowly in adiabatic process. In third step, what will you do? You will place this piston on your sink. Now the remaining heat after your work will reject it to the sink, which is at temperature T2. So this will also a isothermal process in which temperature will remain T2. Now in the third step, in the final step, what we will do? We again put this cylinder system on our stand, and gas will further compressed at temperature T2 will reduce to T1 by an adiabatic process. So first process is isothermal, second is adiabatic, and third again isothermal, and fourth is again your adiabatic process. So now I will consider it all these equations one by one. So first is your heat taken from the source, and this is a isothermal process, and in isothermal process we know very well work done is RT log V2 by V1. We have derived this equation previously. Now in the second step, when system cylinder is placed on the stand. There is no heat exchange because stand is your insulating stand. So in this adiabatic process, temperature will change from T1 to T2 and work done is given by R T1 T2 over gamma minus 1. In third step, what will happen? The cylinder will be placed on the sink and the process will be your isothermal because sink has a temperature fixed at T2 and work done is simple your PdV and this minus sign shows that now volume is decreasing. So to compensate this negative sign, I simply change the limits of this integration, make it sure so that you have no doubt. This negative sign is removed by interchanging the integration limits. So it will come out RT2 log E V3 over V4. And in final step, what you will do, you will again put cylinder on your stand and it is your adiabatic process. So it will given by the work done PdV is equal to RT1 T2 divided by gamma minus 1. Here again this negative sign is compensated by exchanging the initial and final values of your integration. Now, if I want to calculate the complete work done, then I will add simply all these. These two are positive and these two are negative due to the anti-clockwise direction of your process. So, final answer is your work done is Q1 plus Q2. W2 and W4 will cancel each other because they are just equal and opposite to each other. So, answer will be Q1 minus Q2. This is the work done. It can be also calculated from the area. How? Let us see. Look this graph. Now, initially we are at position A and now it is at temperature T1. So, this is an isothermal process, means now cylinder is at our source which has temperature T1. So, this curve is at isothermal process temperature T1 from point A to B, that is P1 V1 to P2 V2. Now, cylinder is placed on your insulator. Insulator is an stand is as an insulator. So, insulator means adiabatic. So, this graph is your adiabatic graph, means here no exchange of heat. So, Q1 heat that is taken from the source will remain Q1 and it will be used in work done. So, this is adiabatic process and though no exchange of heat in this. So, parameter will change P2 V2 to P3 V3. Now, in third step, your cylinder is placed over sink. Now, sink is at temperature T2, this will be fixed. So, again temperature is fixed and this is your isothermal process. And in this step, we will come from C to D part and pressure volume change from P3 V3 to P4 V4. Now, the remaining amount of heat is rejected to your sink. Working substance will reject Q2 amount to the sink. Now, in final step, when again cylinder will placed on your stand is insulator. So, this line is your adiabatic process in which we again come to our initial position. So, as this is a complete cycle and we are again at our initial position. So, net area will give you the amount of work done. So, this area will give amount of work done and that is written here. Look at that complete area can be your work done of complete process. Now, efficiency of Carnot cycle. Now, to find the efficiency, I have simple this formula. This is Q2 by Q1. Now, I have just put the value of Q2 and Q1 from these values. Look at here. This is your Q1, okay, and this is your Q2. By putting these values, simple here, I get this. Now I have to verify that V3 by V4 is equal to V2 by V1. These are equal. For this, what I will do, I will take simple steps. That is, first is, as A and B are on same isothermal point, so I can say that in isothermal equation is P1 V1 is equal to P2 V2. Similarly, B and C are on same adiabatic point, so I can say that in adiabatic equations are P2 V2 gamma is equal to P3 V3 gamma. This is second equation. And C and D are again on same isothermal point, so I can say that according to isothermal equation P3 V3 is equal to P4 V4. This is third equation. Now, as in the graph, D and A are on same adiabatic point, same adiabatic curve, so I can say that P4 V4 gamma is equal to P1 V1 gamma. Now, if I multiply these all equation 1, 2, 3, 4, left hand side multiplied by left hand side, right hand side multiplied by right hand side, so I will come to this equation. Now, in this you can see P1 P1, P2 P2, P3 P3, P4 P4, all pressures will be cancel each other. Now, this is V1 and this is V1 gamma. So, if I put this on this side, then it will become V1 gamma minus 1. Similarly, if I put V4 from here to this side, then it will become V4 gamma minus 1. Similarly, V2 will become gamma minus 1 and V3 gamma minus 1. Simple shuffling of parameter from left to right. I will get this, or you can say this is V2 V4 is equal to V3 V1. Now, ratio of V3 over V4 is equal to ratio of V2 by V1. So, what I have proved that these two are equal. So, this will cancel out, efficiency will remain 1 minus T2 by T1. So, efficiency will become 1 minus T2 over T1. Now, conclusion of this is, our efficiency does not depend on any parameter of the working substance, that is gas. So, we can say that efficiency is independent of your working substance. Second, it will just depend upon the temperature of source and the sink only. And efficiency can never be 100% because all amount of heat given to the working substance cannot be converted into work done, because some of the heat is rejected to our sink part. Now, Carnot theorem. The Carnot theorem states that our Carnot heat engine has the maximum efficiency and no other engine can be more efficient than your Carnot heat engine, because it is a complete cyclic process in which there is no loss of heat. So, any engine cannot be more efficient than your Carnot heat engine. Now, next part is your principle of refrigerator. It is just the reverse of your Carnot heat engine. In this, what we will do, heat will be absorbed from the sink, that is Q2 amount of heat is absorbed from the sink, which is at temperature T2, and this heat is given to the surrounding, which is at the lower temperature your T1. So, what we will do, the work done is simply, as we know that Q1 minus Q2, that is change in energy, heat energy, and this work done is performed by the compressor inside the refrigerator. So, compressor will do the work that heat taken from the inside material from the refrigerator and it is removed, it is rejected in the outside world. Now, coefficient of performance of your refrigerator. Coefficient of performance is just similar to your efficiency and it is given by beta. This is your amount of heat rejected from the inside material, that is Q2 amount taken from the inside materials, and W is the work done. So, it is Q2 over Q1 minus Q2. Now, by simply dividing all about Q2, I will get this, and as Q1 related to T1 and Q2 related to T2. So I can simply replace Q1 by T1 and Q2 by T2. So it will become beta is equal to T2 over T1 minus T2. So if you know the temperature differences, then you can easily find the coefficient of performance of your refrigerator. High beta means more efficiency. जितना बीटा आपका ज़्यादा होगा, your efficiency or your coefficient of performance will be more. And as temperature of inside material is decreased, then your efficiency will decrease because change in temperature will become now less. So as inside material will become colder, the coefficient or efficiency of your refrigerator will decrease. So this is your all about chapter 12, that is your thermodynamics.